Hey, good evening and welcome to Craft Nation episode 161 of the Friday Night Hangout. We are doing Russian Imperial Stouts tonight. I'm your host tonight, Charles Dunkley. It's probably going to be a short show since most of us, or some of us, have been on Savor Hangout for 3 hours, so and now we're over here. But anyway, just want to introduce our panel real quick before we jump in. With us tonight, as always, Tom Snyder. Good to see you again, Tom. How you doing?
Yeah, great, buddy.
Cool. And Linda Dean, who is what were you quoted as, Linda, by Jennifer?
Oh, I'm trying to remember. She's so cool. She's the bomb. Oh, Linda's the bomb.
Sam Adams says that Linda's the bomb. So
you'll
see that. You will see that on some of our Savor clips later on. And Doug Nolan, who, ironically enough, apparently does not have a Russian Imperial Stout tonight.
Well, kind of.
Cool. And the very into her cups, Lola Laracy, is with us tonight.
I'm going to say this right now, Linda Dean, you stole Savor. We said it was the Linda show because you were talking about the food they had and the pairings, and you totally impressed everybody who was there.
Yep, I could almost envision the meals that they were having, Linda. So it was a great job.
You were awesome because
I would love to be there. I would love to be there.
Hopefully next year.
That would be great.
Yeah. All right, but for now, though, it is Friday Night Hangout. We're doing Russian Imperial Stouts. Now, I don't know that Russian Imperial Stout is really a style any different from Imperial Stout. I don't think there's any ingredient that makes it Russian or anything. But it usually means it's a really big, kick your teeth in Imperial Stout beer. And,
I usually associate it with the alcohol kick.
Yeah. I think I would expect a Russian Imperial Stout to be stronger than an Imperial Stout, but that's just how I view it. I don't know if that's accurate or not. Doug, any thoughts on it? Doug is muted.
Doug!
I'll tell you what, a little Doug, I would agree with.
My bad. I'm muting and turning off all kinds of stuff here.
Come on.
Your camera's up. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Well, I went to hit the unmute button, but I hit the camera off, and then I hit all kinds of wrong buttons. Story of my life.
That's all right. Well, you got 2 kids, so you did something right.
Yeah, I guess. Lola's on her first beer of the night.
No. All
right, go ahead,
Doug. I believe Russian Imperial Stout is actually the style. I mean, I guess it all depends on what you're going by, whether it's what breweries want to call it versus getting into BJCP or stuff like that. But I believe the Russian Imperial Stout was the kind of like the start of it, and then all the other Imperial Stouts kind of branched off from that. Like the American double Imperial Stouts or whatever they call them.
Because it's hard to tell, because when you go to Beer Advocate, like they'll have 1050 as a Russian Imperial Stout.
Now, yeah, so I don't know how they. I don't like. That's a good example when you look at a website like Beer Advocate where they have some things that'll be listed as an American double stout versus something listed as a Russian Imperial Stout. And I don't know if that's just something that the breweries themselves have said, hey, this is what this is. I don't know what differentiates the two.
Yeah, what determines that? Because it's not on the can from Oscar Blues. It doesn't say Russian Imperial Stout. So
no, and Oscar Blues themselves does not list it as they list it as an Imperial Stout, but not as a Russian Imperial Stout.
I don't know. I feel like I should have done some research on this before.
And I looked it up a little bit, but just looking at Beer Advocate and Wikipedia in general, one says they were brewed to try to curry the favor of the Russian Czars. The other one says they were brewed specifically for the court of Catherine II. So
Yeah, and that's
Alright.
I mean,
early
I get
1800s beer.
yeah, I understand the history behind them and why they're brewed for in the Baltic regions and the reasons for the higher alcohol to withstand time and
So like
travel.
the Indian
and-
Pale Ale and then the
Yeah,
Russian Imperial
exactly.
Stout, I guess.
It's kind of like those, and like even like when you get into like the Baltic porters, the same way. It's kind of brewed to last
Got
and
to
travel.
survive the voyage.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Catherine, that the brewery up in your neck of the woods. Well, I guess formerly made Kate the Great, Portsmouth, in kind of tribute to her, because her nickname was Kate the Great.
Okay, well we're gonna let's jump into what beers we're drinking. Tom, do you have a Russian Imperial Stout tonight? That looked kind of lighter in color than we had.
I'm definitely off tonight. I'm staying with my
Oh, that's right.
censored,
A great beer.
and that's only because it's Savor. So if I go downstairs and get my fridge, I can
We
get
like Lagunitas.
Stout, but
Good God.
it's too late.
That censored is a really good beer, though.
It is very good. It's a typical Lagunitas beer. It's just very, very good. And I love it.
I have sort of a Russian Imperial Stout.
All right, what do you got, Lola?
Well,
Is it
okay,
Oh man.
I'm
Go
very
ahead.
drunk. So we were talking about how the Russian Imperial Stout is more of a historical thing because of Russia. Well, us in America, we do Imperial Stout, but of course we want to call to Russia. So I'm drinking something called Siberian Night Imperial Stout.
That's an impressive label.
It is,
Cool.
isn't it? They want you to know it's night, and it's Siberian, so you better watch yourself because you're out in the cold and out in the wilderness, and you're gonna have nightmares. Because I probably will. I'm fucking drunk, and I'm gonna have nightmares about this
Ooh.
fucking thing. So it's from Thirsty Dog Brewery. And it says that Imperial Stouts are by far the granddaddy of all stouts. They are very, very dark and rich with a deep roasted, satisfying flavor. Siberian Night is made in this tradition. Don't laugh at me. I know what you're doing. It's creamy and full-bodied.
Are you
So
talking about
basically,
Stout or Alan?
Alan, hey Alan.
He's muted, don't worry.
Alan
Sorry.
is not in Siberia. As far as we know, Alan is in North Carolina. But basically what's it's saying is that these American Imperial Stouts is in the flavor. It's in the homage of the Russian Imperial Stouts, and it's just trying to go for the ambiance.
Okay.
I know that someone's laughing at me, but I can't tell who it is.
It's Craft Beer Nation.
Yep.
Thank you, Craft Beer Nation. I love you, Craft Beer Nation.
It's one of the 6 of us.
I am effing drunk as effing hell, and you know what I'm gonna say it. I'm fucking drunk as fuck.
That was Craft Beer Nation.
Oh, what's my name? What's my name?
You're on the wrong show, Lola. You're on the wrong
Hold
show.
on. Wait,
Show
what
the
show am I
label again,
supposed to be on?
Easy there.
What?
Yeah.
It's fucking 11:15 at
Whoa,
night.
whoa, whoa.
What show am I supposed to be on?
You're supposed to be on the PG-13 Loa Literacy show.
Yeah.
Wait. So fucking is PJ-13?
Anyway.
All right, hold on.
Alright.
Let's think about this for a second. We have one viewer.
Thanks, Mom.
But this
Thank
will be
you.
on.
Thank you, Mom.
But this will be on YouTube later, so.
And I appreciate you, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm very well.
Haven't seen you in a while. Linda, Charles.
Alan, do you have a Russian Imperial Stout that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah.
Do you want to be honest or do you want me to lie to you right now?
Lie to me.
Yes, I'm actually drinking the Stone Chai Russian Imperial Stout from the 2015 collection.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it's very chai-y, but not overly chai. It kind of cuts
like
out from
chai.
it kind of cuts out from the main base beer. That's my
This
personal
beer.
opinion.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Whoa.
one here.
Yeah.
Oh,
I actually had that
different
earlier. Yeah, I had this earlier while we were on Savor.
So did you So I had it a couple days ago, but I thought I thought it was the chai character was good. It actually came through, which I was expecting, it to be oh yeah, this is chai, but there was gonna be no chai. But I
No,
thought
there
it.
was definitely chai there.
Yeah.
They did
I like chai.
But I just thought
They
it took
really did a
away.
good job in it.
I just thought it took away from the what the level of chai is. I thought it took away from the Imperial Stout character. Not a lot, but just
And
And for me,
heard-
I've actually never had the regular Imperial Russian Stout from them yet. So this
Well,
is my
you need to do
first
yourself a
version of this
favor.
beer.
interesting.
Yeah, you need to do yourself a favor and try the original because
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get that tomorrow.
there's plenty and obviously I'm not my example for tonight is not a straightforward Imperial Stout since it's barrel aged, but when you come to regular, just straight Imperial Stouts, the American ones like the Stone, I know they get a lot of publicity or a lot of hype about all their IPAs and whatnot, but that Imperial Stout that they make is so good.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually,
I'll
I
have to
had
get that
insane
tomorrow.
how good it is.
Actually, I had a chance to buy a bottle of the I think it was a 2008. I was in Asheville at Brews and Ales, and it was just I guess they just had a Stone event, so it wasn't like it was just there. You know what I mean? But they had a vertical of for the event they had to I wouldn't say 10-year vertical. I wasn't there. I don't know.
Well, you
But there was
come up here, come up to Virginia here later this summer, and I will be opening a 2008 through 2015 vertical of it.
Well,
Ugh.
I know where you live.
So yeah, I got that going for me, which is nice.
So I've drank my Siberian Night. I've drank a bomber, and I drank.
Cocoa mole.
Yes, cocoa mole. It was very good.
I
By
love
the
that
way,
beer.
very cocoa, very
Very mole.
porter. I wasn't gonna say
Mole.
that because I don't know what mole is.
It's
So
mole.
very-
It's like roadkill. Mole.
Not
There
the
was
same,
a lot
but
of mole in
kinda.
there. There was a lot of meaty roadkill in there. It was very good.
I would
And
go more
I'm-
cinnamon, more chocolate, but
And roadkill. There was a lot of.
I'm not want to tell you how you like your roadkill.
It was a very spicy roadkill, like a spice truck ran over a raccoon. It was very good. And I've had this, and I've had this, and none of my other beer is cold, and I don't want to drink more beer because I'm going to do more tomorrow, so I'm going to go to wine now.
Cool.
Lola is just.
Lola,
Is that
do
a
you have a
Russian-
straw, sweetie?
This is the night I want to party with Lola.
Lola doesn't care.
It would have been a great night. Whatever level she's on, I'd probably be halfway there, but it would still be awesome.
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. Look it up. Damn Yankees.
Yep.
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets.
Lola lost her
Okay.
body
Those
straw.
little twisty straws.
Who's next up for their beer?
What?
Who's next up for their beer?
I don't know.
I have what I actually call the go-to Russian Imperial Stout. This is Old Rasputin.
Very good beer.
North Coast Old Rasputin. Although from what I see, it's only 9%.
So, no, that's probably right. But when I first started drinking Russian Imperial Stouts, Old Rasputin was the one that I said every stout should taste like.
Okay, now I don't know about that.
I thought it was that good.
I get lots of coffee, I get some chocolate, and then I get a kick in the teeth of alcohol. So I'm not sure this is going to be my favorite Russian Imperial Stout.
Have you had Speedway?
No, actually,
Oh.
this is one of the very few. I've had the Stone and Russian Imperial Stout, and it was okay. It was. I would consider that better than this. Old Rasputin is okay if you have to drink a Russian Imperial Stout or something else. But I'm not in love with it. The alcohol, seriously, the alcohol character is not.
Where's Doug when you need him? Seriously.
Okay, do I need to be schooled?
You don't need to be schooled. I mean, it's your opinion. I will not put that, but I think Old Rasputin's amazing. That's me.
I mean, the coffee and chocolate is great, but the alcohol character doesn't leave me with a really great feeling.
It must be a really hot bottle. Really fresh.
It was from a keg.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
It's actually the last of it.
Changes everything.
Yeah.
It's actually the last
super
of it.
fresh.
It's actually the last of a keg, so it could be the dregs of humanity. I guess it's just not my favorite beer.
I like that. That North Coast they make some really, really good beers.
I agree with that. North Coast makes some fantastic beers. This is not my
seal.
favorite, but it's.
Well, it's funny about that beer. That's the Rasputin, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's and I don't get on like websites like Beer Advocate very often, but when I was getting more heavy into craft beer many years ago, if you got on a site like Beer Advocate and people are like, oh, what's a good Russian Imperial Stout? Like, there are always like 3 or 4, or maybe even like 2 or 3 people would always recommend it. It was always be Stone, Old Rasputin, usually like the 2 main ones, and it seems like so many people kind of use that as kind of. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of it myself either, but I'd love to see what my local breweries would do with a Russian Imperial Stout. I haven't seen any of the local breweries yet do a Russian Imperial Stout. I mean, me, like when it comes to like non-barrel aged versions of of course there's other, I guess, non-barrel aged versions that have other stuff added to them, but like straight just Imperial Stouts, like Stone, of course, we mentioned earlier, is so good, and of course, I think Charles mentioned 1050 a moment ago, and it's
yes,
that's fucking awesome.
It's just insane how good that beer is.
Hello, I love 1050.
Linda, what general area are you in? Like
Corvallis, Oregon.
I am smack dab in the middle of the western coast of Oregon.
Have you had Pelican has a what's the name of theirs? Tsunami, I want to say.
Yes, I have had Pelican Tsunami.
I don't remember if that's an Imperial or not, but that was an amazing stout. Maybe I should Google this before I say it, or before I mention it.
Don't worry about it, Alan Huerta. We don't care.
And
I don't know what my name is.
Hopworks. They had
Hopworks.
Yeah.
Hopworks makes some fantastic beer. I don't remember having an Imperial Stout from them, but I know that it's available here.
Pelican Tsunami is a foreign.
Oh, okay.
7% alcohol.
My bad.
It's a foreign agent.
Yeah, I told you I should Google this before I say it, but I really love that beer.
Alan Huerta, I don't know what I'm talking about half the time.
Yeah, Tsunami is an Imperial. It's just a foreign export stout, 7% ABV.
Okay.
Well, I retract my statement. It's not an amazing Imperial Stout.
What? Why?
Well,
so it's not
you didn't confirm. You didn't state that it was definitely.
That's true. I didn't say that. I just was thinking in my head.
Don't own it if you don't say it. That's the thing. As long as you can have it.
I
If I had
a big ass mug.
If I had to compare this with 1050, I'd take 1050 over Old Rasputin.
I love Oscar Blues 1050. That's some fucking awesome shit.
Yeah, I would probably take 1050 over Old Rasputin as well. But I really like Old Rasputin a lot.
I've had Old Rasputin. I like that too. 1050 is better.
And I get like 1050. Well, when Oscar Blues opened a brewery and close to me anyway, so it's not that hard to get like it used to be.
Well,
that makes a difference.
That's the great thing about, and that's when you get into a lot of these Imperial Stouts, and I know so many, like, of course, we haven't gotten to me, but mine is a barrel aged stout. But I think a lot of breweries now, when it comes to imperial stouts, there's so much more. It may have just me thinking this. There's so much emphasis on stouts for barrel aging, and you don't seem to see as many just straightforward imperial stouts, or the ones that are out there sometimes can be harder to get, whether it be like Sexual Chocolate from Foothills, or of course the infamous Dark Lord, you know, like stuff like that. Like you don't like things like, for me, like Oscar Blues 1050. I guess even before the new brewery in North Carolina opened, it was still readily available, and of course Stone's Dimension 4s, you know, pretty readily available. You know, Sierra Nevada's Narwhal's.
Oh yes.
Usually pretty easily, you know, accessible. I feel like a lot of, I don't know, maybe if I'm the only one that thinks this, but it just seems like a lot of times now with imperial stouts, it's like, oh, if it's not barrel aged, it's not any good. You know what I mean?
See, I don't think that, but I understand what you're saying. Like it's like when you see like even just a regular, like a stout that's normally barrel aged, or not necessarily normally barrel aged, but when you see a stout like Sexual Chocolate, I'll use that because it's always here in North Carolina when it's that season. But, like you see the normal one and like you'll pass it up on the shelf, but if you see the barrel aged one, you're like, I need like 20 cases of that now. You know what I mean? It's just.
Is it that hard to make a Russian Imperial Stout that, you know, it's that hard to find?
I don't know if it's like on the professional level, if it's, you know, how difficult it is. Like for me, like on a home brewing front, like I generally, as everybody else here usually attest to, like I tend to brew higher gravity beers, and I've been trying to brew an imperial stout for so long, and I still haven't really been able to dial in just right. The only ones that I've really made that have been fantastic, one was a imperial chocolate stout, or two that I aged in an actual bourbon barrel, and they were fantastic. But like when you try to brew like an IPA or double IPA, I feel like sometimes they're kind of easy, and when I taste a bad commercial IPA, it just like it makes me so mad. But imperial stouts, I think, are just so hard to brew.
Yeah, I think part of. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
What hangs you up on that, Doug?
What's that?
What hangs you up on doing a imperial stout?
I wish I knew, and it may take me, like my most recent one was actually based on Stone's recipe, and but I try to dial it up more, try to hit like a really, really high alcohol, and I only hit 12. But it may take me sitting around with some friends to kind of dissect it to see. It just doesn't quite, hit the mark that I'm looking for, I guess.
I get
like it doesn't taste bad to me, I don't think, but it just has kind of a slight off. It's not quite there. But I brewed a lot of good IPAs and double IPAs that I thought were fantastic. But stouts, I'm just like, I like it, but it's just missing something.
Is it a flavor thing or is it a body thing?
It's definitely not a body thing. The one that I most recently brewed, I used an insane amount of oats, and it's like, it is chewy.
Like it.
Well, I think when it comes to brewing it, like it's like with that style, even though it's so big, so you could, like, if you're just going for a recipe, you can make everything huge, but it's still the balance of like the big booziness, like roasted chocolate, harsh notes, you know what I mean, and like just
I think that
everything has
part
to
of the
come
problem.
together.
Yeah, I think the part of the problem with my most recent one is kind of bouncing back to Charles' original talk about the difference between like Russian Imperial Stouts and Imperial Stouts, and I know a lot of American Imperial Stouts obviously are just heavy hopped, just to match that sweetness that you get from the super high ABV stouts. But it's not uncommon for a lot of American-made Imperial Stouts to be 80 plus IBUs. And I don't know if maybe I hopped it too much, and also I obviously don't have the recipe with me right now, but I don't know if maybe I hit too much of a high percentage of the roasted grains that's kind of giving it. It's not over the top like astringent, but it's got a weird. I don't know. Maybe I'll send you a bottle. You can tell me what you think.
maybe not enough sweetness and like other characters to balance it out or something.
Some's not right.
You know what, Doug Nolan?
What's
It's
up?
okay. It's okay.
It is okay.
It
is. I was a little concerned, but now that you told me it's gonna be okay, it's okay.
It's all good.
Yeah, it is.
You know what? I had been drinking wine, but then I kept thinking about it. I was like, I want more beer. So I went and I got fucking more beer. This is what I got.
Did you? How far gone is a bottle of wine? I'm just curious.
Oh well, no. I only had a tiny bit of the wine. Normally I just dropped my water. Normally I could switch back
Maybe
and
you should
forth.
drink that.
Huh?
Nothing.
I only drink the water.
Beer.
I only drink the water to keep from having a headache. That's the only reason I drink the water.
I think you're gonna need a lot more water.
But you know what? I normally would have stopped drinking beer by now, but I want more. And I'm drinking two.
Blame it on Savor.
And I'm not even at Savor. I'm here in sunny Jacksonville, Florida. And hello, my name is Little Laracy. And this is two brothers, Cain and Abel, Red by Abel. Ray.
That's right.
Yep.
My name is Lola.
Signing out for Craft Beer Nation.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna jump in with my beer real quick.
Yes, go ahead, Charles.
Please do, Charles.
I am drinking a Cisco Brewers Island Reserve 2014 Russian Imperial Stout.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this thing, it's like motor oil
Oh yeah.
and no head at all. This is how it poured. No, like just the tiniest bit.
What ABV is it? I don't
It's 13.5.
know. Okay.
That's a big ABV.
Yeah, it is. And
Yes, it
this
is.
is really good. It's got your chocolate, your coffee, but it's also got like a dark like fruit, like a raisin or a plum in there as well. It's pretty interesting. I didn't really know much about it, so I wasn't expecting that dark fruit in there. So
No,
I like it a lot, but
I-
it's a bit different than I would expect from a Russian Imperial Stout.
Well, and I don't know what.
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead, Linda.
I looked at ratebeer.com and it did mention, raisins and fruit.
Yeah.
So, and I don't taste any of that in Old Rasputin, but obviously you're getting it.
It depends on the beer. I will
Yes.
say that, like.
This one has it. This one has that dark fruity sort of sweetness to it.
I
Of
would
course-
love to try that.
Of course, it's the one that I've just drank and the one I'm drinking now are far from a standard Imperial Stout. But I know Alec could probably chime in on this one too. But good friends down in North Carolina by the name of Duck Rabbit, their Imperial Stout I find to be very fruity. Where a lot of them, it's just kind of the dark roast malt and the chocolate and the coffee. And you don't necessarily get that fruit, but I feel like the Duck Rabbit one is kind of like what Charles is saying. You get that kind of that chocolatey, roasty, malty, but then a kind of a really dark, fruity plum.
Fig.
Yeah, kind of sweetness, kind of finish.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Like they make a good range. Like they're dark beer specialists, and they make a good range of, dark beers. But I think their bigger ones are the better ones, and their Imperial Stout is actually like very complex, very.
Yeah, it's intense
Awesome.
because you taste it and you get, like Charles was saying, you get that kind of upfront roasty, malty, chocolatey flavor up front. Then it finishes with that really dark, fruity, plummy, raisiny, finish.
I would love
definitely.
to try an imperial. I would love to try Russian Imperial Stout that focuses on actual figs. That would be amazing.
I've been trying to brew a beer with figs for like years because my mom has a fig tree in her front yard, and the fig tree is 100 years old, and she just for some reason just doesn't ever get figs off of it. But I've got a few people I know that have figs. I've been trying to get figs to brew a beer for 3 years.
That would be awesome.
And I just
Well, Doug or Alan, when they get those notes, are they doing it through an addition, or are they doing it through the yeast? As far as the plum and the raisin and the fig.
usually it's definitely not the most of the time it's generally going to be from your grain and your yeast, most likely your yeast.
Okay.
And your fermentation temperature, because most imperial stouts aren't really brewed with fruit per se.
They don't put fruit in, but I was just wondering if
Mm-hmm.
you're picking those flavors up through the yeast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Alan can chime in too, but I would say it's more maybe not necessarily the yeast, but also temperature, fermentation temperature.
Mm-hmm.
Probably play a little bit of a role in that.
Yeah, I would definitely say through your grain and then the fermentation temperature, like Doug was saying, because like the yeast is going to interact with the malts that you add. And I'm like right now I'm trying to search for a Black Butte 27 or is it 26 this year? Because I'm trying to is a porter. Sorry, I'm kind of jumping off topic. But 2 years ago they did it with figs. Oh no, sorry. Yeah, no, they did it with figs.
25 was 20. Yeah, the 25 was with figs, I believe.
Okay, and then 24 was dates or something like that. But
25 is the only one I've ever had, and that beer is so fucking good.
so I'm still trying to find this link to their new one this
Do
year.
they
But
distribute to North Carolina?
no, they do not, which I hate.
Now, I mean, are you saying they use the figs in a boil, or?
They use them. I had to look at the blog again, but I think they use them in secondary. I'd have to.
Are they
Oh, it's an
using?
Asian one.
That would make sense in the secondary or the last 5 to 3 minutes of the boil, maybe.
So, I mean, are they just going for the sugars or the flavor?
More so for they're trying to extract that flavor. I think that's what they were going for. I can't find it. I'm gonna Google their blog.
Well, I didn't mean to cause you your brain damage. I was just curious.
That's fine. I was looking this up on my own.
I mean, I've seen lots of figs. I've seen lots of figs in porters, but not. It doesn't seem to me to be a big thing in Russian Imperial Stouts. You know what? I'd really love to see Southern Tier do it.
Southern Tier is awesome.
Yeah.
I love them. I've seen a lot of dark fruits in beer, but never particularly in Russian Imperial Stouts.
Well, Charles,
Has Southern Tier done a Russian Imperial Stout?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But I've had one from, what is it, Middle Ages Brewing up in Syracuse, Dragon Slayer. And theirs is another one that has that dark fruit in it as well.
Dragon Slayer is awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait. Southern Tier Chocolate is
Yeah,
a Russian Imperial
Chocolat
Stout.
is it their chocolat?
Is a Russian Imperial Stout.
Is
Really?
it this CHOKLAT?
Yes.
Yeah, that one.
I didn't realize that was a Russian Imperial Stout. I love their chocolat. I have gotten mega drunk on chocolat many times.
11. Yeah, that's 11%, and that definitely focuses on the chocolate.
I'm going to tell you what, you drink that and you will be on the couch. I know from experience you will be on the couch, and you may be asleep, but you will also be dreaming weird things. I'm
Or-
just telling you.
Or you will be very, very satisfied.
Very
No,
satisfying.
No,
Tom has a
At
point.
least in the chocolate department.
well, if you drink the whole thing, you will be on the couch and you will be dreaming weird things. I'm just telling you right now.
I just said I basically had a bomber on it. I was very satisfied and wanted another.
Well, I was on the couch and the room was spinning. You know when you get so drunk that you close your eyes, but the room still keeps spinning?
No.
You don't know Tom
High
Snyder?
five, Tom. High five.
Tom Snyder, come on, tell me, Tom Snyder. You know what I'm talking about.
Not
When
since
you're-
I was.
Well, Tom Snyder, you are fucking awesome. You're fucking wonderful because I had my eyes closed, the room kept still spinning, and I was like,
Put down. Put down on the floor.
So I'd like to talk about my beer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Doug.
go ahead, Doug.
What are you drinking,
who
Doug?
are we talking to now?
Well, originally, I can talk about two now because I've drank one and I'm drinking
You
second.
should.
I'm still drinking two brothers.
Yeah.
So the first one I drank, of course, I was mentioning like I always tend to have high gravity beers in the house, and I guess somehow I just didn't. Stouts didn't make their way in except for a few. The few that I have is the 2012 Bourbon County that I drank originally, and now I'm drinking a Brooklyn Black Chocolate Stout,
Nice.
a
Man,
2010.
Oh.
That.
That is. Wait, I'm sorry. Can you hold that up again? That is the.
So,
That is-
I've tried to hold on to bottles
That's
of that
beautiful.
one.
I always forget when I do my lower third, and I have to like flip flop it, so like I move one way, it goes the other way.
Mhm.
So go ahead, Alan.
I was gonna say I always try to like put bottles of the Brooklyn Stout away, but at the price that it is, it's so easy just to be like, and the availability is so easy to be like, you know what? I'll just drink this 4-pack and I'll buy another one tomorrow. Or
That's what I always try to do with like Bigfoot, and I bought a 4-pack of Bigfoot this year, and because we didn't get it last year, and I bought a 4-pack and I drank it like that weekend, and I went back, it was gone. I'm like, fuck. Anyways, so 2012 Bourbon County clocks in at a modest 15% alcohol.
Oh my Lord Jesus Christ! Have mercy. Fucking
And
hell.
I don't know how many of you folks have had this particular year of it.
Not me.
It's one of my more favorite ones that I've had over the years, but it's not that necessarily it's 15%. I don't know, but like when I was able to get a case and a half of this year, and I've had it from 2007 through now. And at 15%, it's so easy drinking. It's
Seriously, at 15%?
when this one was fresh, and a lot of times I think the 11 and 13 were a little harsh, a little hot, fresh, and I think they were a little bit less alcohol, like 14.9 maybe. This
That's nothing.
with
Fuck
this
that
beer,
shit.
man,
That's baby alcohol.
it's
Go
it's
ahead,
so it's so sweet. You get like when you have it all the residual sugar from it being like I forget when we talked to these guys on one of the hangouts a while back, like what the final gravity of this beer is, but it's insanely high. But it's so sweet and chocolatey and roasty. Then you get the vanilla, the oak, like leather from the wood. It's so good.
12 was the first year I've ever had, so. I
Yeah,
know what you're saying.
it's such a good beer, and it's one of those things. Like I know there's that whole controversy with AB InBev and stuff, and to me, I have a hard time. Like I want to not like them because they were sold, bought out by AB InBev. But at the end of the day, I also really like good beer. How do I like good beer? Do I like good beer more than I like
Yeah,
business or whatever?
Well,
I've talked about that a lot.
It's a hard decision.
It's a hard road. It's like you want to support the people making the beer, and they made a decision. They sold to AB InBev, but do you punish them for that?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're growing a business, if you're being bought out, it's like oh, people want me. It's kind of almost like a show of respect. Like people want it, but it's unfortunate, who wanted them. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and it depends upon the industry. I mean, in the tech industry, you build something and somebody buys it for millions of dollars. That's you're a success.
It happens all the time.
In a different industry, you're a sellout. So.
So that's why, and I know there's a lot of people that are hardcore against it, and you know, if someone was to come in here and be like, I can't believe you're drinking that, it's AB InBev, that's fine. You know, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'll drink it in front of them.
Yeah, exactly. Like I won't fault people for not drinking it because they don't like to. That's that's their thing. But
yeah, and
for me, it's like I also like I'm more about just enjoying good beer, and it's hard to say anything bad about this beer. And I think I made a comment when I posted a picture about this beer earlier. And I'm like, man, whoever invented barrel aging stouts was a genius. Go figure. It was actually Goose Island that kind of started back. I think it was 1992. Was the first year they filled 6 barrels of Jim Beam and poured for the first time at the Great American Beer Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And if for some beers being bought out, the beer quality takes a nosedive. Other beers, they've managed to maintain their quality.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I know because I know when you get into like, of course we're going like over here now, but for like Goose Island, like all their barrel aged stuff and all their Belgian stuff, whether it be all the Bourbon counties or all the, your Sophie and
Pepe Nero and all those,
all that stuff. That's all
great beers.
All that stuff is still Chicago located, so that's all coming out of their Chicago facilities. But if you go out and get you a 6-pack of Honkers, it's coming from like all the non-Belgian Bourbon County stuff that I get in this area comes from Baldwinsville, New York. And I feel that I don't buy a lot of those beers just because I think some of them are kind of almost like, and I'm not to knock on Sam Adams, but like I think they kind of also brew for the masses at times. So I think a lot of the mainstream beers that Goose Island does kind of more for the masses, so it's not, going to overly impress me, or it's obviously better than your macro alternates. But the beer I'm drinking now, however, is the 2010 Black Chocolate Stout, and this beer is not quite the same, obviously, as the Bourbon County, but it's still just really good. It's not I think it may be past its prime at 2010, but you definitely get that really dark cocoa, dark chocolate flavors. It's not as sweet maybe as it might have been fresh.
So yeah, I definitely think that barrel aging has its part to play in dark beers. It's kind of a toss up. I mean, Russian Imperial Stouts definitely can improve in barrel aging. It's most of the big adventurous beers can really profit from barrel aging.
I have this to say. I think Goose Island is a good test for this subject because I know that the Goose Island, the original company still has control of Sophie and their special beers. But I know that the general beers have been sold out to the other company. So I know that if I drink like Sophie or one of the other specialty beers, that it's theirs. And I'm just gonna stick to the specialty beers because I know that they've sold out the other beers.
Yeah, and it's a matter of can a big like Budweiser plant or whoever bought them, can they even brew Sophie or Pepe Nero or Bourbon County? They can't. Probably,
no. They let Goose Island keep their specialty beers because they know how to do them. They took the other stuff. And with Goose Island, if I see a Sophie or something specialty, I'll buy it. But I won't buy the general stuff because instinctively I know that they just took the name and they're just doing whatever they want with the name.
I'll tell you what, that being said, I don't know, maybe I'm one of the minority, but the Goose Island Goose IPA, their English IPA, is pretty darn good. I like it.
Someone I work with, we went out to dinner the other day, and they bought the Goose IPA, and I got the Hop Hunter. But I thought they were both fine choices with what was on tap. And
yeah, I mean the Goose Island IPA won gold at GABF I think last year, the year before.
Yeah,
English IPA.
No, I mean definitely a great choice. I'm not trying to put it down. I just personally with the Hop Hunter because it's new, fresh. I mean, it's.
No, we all know you're a Sierra Nevada homer.
Well,
yeah, come on now. Yeah, silence. Got nothing to say.
I'm gonna be
Alan,
honest.
if you were in the desert, and now you were dying of thirst, and to your left was a Sierra Nevada beer, and to your right was a New Belgian beer, which direction would you crawl in?
well, so definitely New Belgium, but what beer is
Can I
it?
leave in both directions at once? I mean,
Go ahead.
There's some things you may not, Linda. There's some things you may not know about Alan here. He is about as big of a New Belgium homer as there is, as also a Sierra Nevada.
He's got a beer camp.
That's right, Alan. You did their beer camp, right?
I did.
You know what?
I love beer camp.
Tell us about the beer camp because I'm very drunk now and I don't remember shit except for that.
I think that's another show, or after we're off the air, because we're talking about stouts right now.
Yes, we are.
Oh, we're not talking about anything right now. Let's be honest with each other.
So-
We're talking about stouts.
Are we talking about stouts?
Yes,
Let's be
we are.
honest.
We are. You're not. We
We're
are.
Let's
still
wrap up.
talking about Russian Imperial Stouts.
What's
So,
my
we're gonna
name?
wrap up our show.
What's my
Yes,
name?
please do.
Thank you, Charles.
What's
Yes.
my name?
How do you say Lola in Siberia?
Rick James.
Lola.
What are the
Lola.
5 fingers say to the face?
Lola Riska.
Lola Riska.
Lola Riska.
All right, we're going to wrap it up. I'm just checking to see what next week is. I think
Hey, we got 2 viewers now.
All
We
right.
had 4. What the fuck
I'll
did
tell
we
you
do?
what. If you are at all interested in Russian Imperial Stouts, go out and try one. They're a big
Yes, try many
beer.
of them.
See, Linda
very
Dean
good.
right now is preaching the truth.
Linda Dean is
Yes.
awesome.
Well,
Linda Dean is a shit.
I don't want to
What?
put down other styles of beer, and
Oh,
I know when you get into a lot of beers, and if you get into various forums, there's a gazillion styles of beers. Each beer has tons of different variations of it, and I know there's so much hype or people searching out your IPAs, your double IPAs, your imperial stouts, and I know it's kind of like a I don't know the word I'm looking for, but it's like the end thing, like the imperial stouts and the IPAs. But if you go out and try good imperial stouts, there's not a whole lot of things better to
Hold
it
on.
than them. Like the flavors you get.
Yeah, there are as many flavors in Imperial Stouts as in any others.
And just
Yeah, it's a very diverse
Imperial
style, too.
Stout. Roar!
good God.
All right, well, next week we are doing the whole Duvel Mortgott family.
I don't know what the
So
fuck that
it's-
is.
Beep.
Basically, Omegang. Yeah. It's any beer from Omegang, from Boulevard, from Duvel. Everything that's owned by that Duvel umbrella.
I actually have a 2011-2014 Three Philosophers in the fridge right now.
I have a
Cool.
boulevard.
Couple
I
of
have a boulevard.
Boulevard, yeah, a couple of Boulevards here.
I only like that beer aged. That's another story of the day.
All right, so that is going to be next Friday. And we are wrapping up our post-Savor, rather interesting Friday night Russian Imperial Stout.
What's my
the
name?
Lola show.
We had the Linda
Or,
show.
As Dr. Eva would say, Lola.
Lola.
Anyway, have a good night, everybody, and we will see you next week. I think we've got Denison Brewing coming up in the special Pints and Quarts. Is that tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Yes.
I have no
Yeah.
fucking idea what's going
At like
on, but I'm
1:30, I
home all
think.
weekend.
Cool. And look for us on craftbeernation.org, and the Savor show will be chopped up in little bits and all the different interviews. This Friday Night Hangout might actually be chopped up into little bits as well, instead of being just a Friday Night Hangout.
Thank
We
you,
might
Chelsea.
get 15 minutes out of it.
Stay tuned for that.
May 5.
Have a good night, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.